stepping out by faith. It's always a hard thing to do. And yet, as my life has progressed, I've found that I've had to do that several times. I've had to make changes that I didn't always understand, but knew that it was time for that change. And certainly the youth minister at Temple Baptist Church has made that decision as he's leaving the security of a very well-paid youth position at Temple Baptist and going to Honduras for 2 years to live by faith in a land that doesn't really speak his language and whose culture is different than the culture that he's used to. And he's taking 2 very young children with him, along with his wife. And of course, that's exactly what happened in Genesis 12:1. Now the Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, from your relatives, and from your father's house to a land which I will show you." Now, he didn't say where that land was, and he had to just trust God that the land that he was sending him to was a good land and a land where Abram would flourish. And that brings us to faith. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 defines faith. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. You see, with Joseph Bennett, he's going out to perhaps a land that he hoped would bring forth great results of salvations and discipleship, perhaps even church planting and church starting, and a conviction of those things that he's not yet seen. It's easy for a pastor to go from a church of 70 to a church of 700 because there's a whole interview process. You can check out the church, you can see what kind of church it's going to be, and you can find out its reputation in the community and all kinds of things. And it's not a big leap of faith to make that change from one church to another, especially from a small to a large. It's a whole different thing when you leave your own country and when you go to a place that you've never really spent more than a couple of weeks in and really don't have a full idea of what's going to happen there. Every one of us has to make decisions from time to time. They're not always easy decisions. Changing churches and changing places to live are difficult decisions. You establish a friendship circle, you establish a reputation within the church, and it's difficult to make that change. When we moved from Florida, we were leaving a church where it was known for 27 years and came to a community where we didn't know anyone and where we didn't know about many of the churches and had to visit around and make a change. And we did that by faith with an assurance that God would give us those things that we hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. And so each one of us make those kind of decisions, and sometimes we even have to change our decisions and make different decisions. But nevertheless, we do it by faith, believing that if God is in it, God will bless it. And I believe that with all of my heart. So whether you're looking at changes of a community, changes of homes, changes of churches, changes of cars, or whatever you're thinking about changing, if you've talked to the Lord about it and you're sure about it, it can become a faith step, a step of assurance of things that you hope for, and a conviction of things that you haven't yet seen. So I hope that you'll be sure to talk to the Lord about any changes you're going to make. But when you've gotten a clear word from the Lord, then trust in Him with your faith, knowing that He is going to work all things together for good for those that love Him and are called according to His purpose. And that's what I'm going to do, and that's what you should do. God bless you and have a great day.